So, co-main event. Oh man, I was hoping Julianna Pena would win. Now it was a really close fight. Could have gone either way. So anyone who thinks Raquel Pennington won that fight, you're justifiable to think so. A lot of the people at the top of the women's bantamweight are pretty head and neck. And I think we're seeing where is the division going without Amanda Nunes. Speaking of which, after winning the title, Julianna Pena, though, despite fighting a really good fight and having a lot of awesome moments, her grappling was super dominant in the early rounds of the fight. It was the later rounds where I was like, okay, this is going to be a questionable fight. This is going to be a very close, could go either way. Raquel Pennington really dogged out in those later rounds, so that looks better. Like, you really want to be taking the later rounds, not the earlier rounds, as long as you win 3 of the 5 rounds. But that's if we're living in a judge's fair world, which, Julianna Pena said something that even she acknowledged that like Jose Aldo kind of got robbed in the one before, where she's like, I heard these judges were making some crazy decisions and everything, which was pretty accurate. But then she kind of made the worst move and called for a third Amanda Nunes fight instead of a Kayla Harris fight, which that is the fight to make. And I want to make the Kayla Harris and Julianna Pena analysis into one thing. That was probably one of the worst things Julianna Pena could have done for that fight, because obviously the thing is after seeing Kayla Harris and what she did with Vierna, I thought she was going to be able to finish Vierna, and in the first round, it looked like she could have done that had she had more time. But Vierna really fought a really smart fight and kind of kept the judo defense on the thing to the point where it's like, yeah, Kayla had to dig a little deeper. It actually looked like Kayla Harrison was actually beatable in this fight, and Julianna Pena, if it goes to the ground with her jiu-jitsu, right, I don't really think that she doesn't have a puncher's chance on the ground against Kayla Harrison. Now, in the takedown realm, definitely I could see Kayla Harrison launching her, but when it gets to the jiu-jitsu and what happens when you get to the ground, I think Julianna Pena has more of a chance than we actually originally thought, because I just saw with Kayla Harrison, she was forgetting some of her grappling fundamentals on the ground, especially in the third round. I saw her, when she was in the guard, she kind of left her arm out like this, and it could have gotten pushed and she could have had her back taken, and we could have seen a Hail Mary from Vierna. But it just kind of looked like Kayla Harrison definitely looked like she was beatable. Now, she obviously won the fight, but she just looked beatable, to be honest. And we're going to have to see if she's going to take that, step it up. It could have just been an off night, chalk it up to whatever you want. I don't want to take away from anything or be a naysayer to someone who I've been kind of gassing up and glazing as the future of women's bantamweight. But I do see, she's got to stay on top of her game, and I'm glad she's staying active, because the activity and the constant training are going to make the difference between if she's going to make it as one of the greatest women's fighters at bantamweight, or she's going to be broken as one of the top prospects. But she just has to get to Julianna Pena and get that title fight now, because she's more than earned it. And Kayla Harrison has earned that fight. And yeah, I definitely think that Julianna Pena should not have called out Amanda Nunes in that one. It just kind of seems like you're trying to walk away or duck Kayla Harrison, and I don't think she has any reason to, seeing what I've seen, because when I was watching all those women's bantamweight fights go down, it just kind of seemed like they were all in the same league, where it could have been anyone's game, not like a one-sided beatdown of Kayla Harrison. It certainly seemed that way when she was fighting Holly Holm, because she was able to steamroll. But you go against Caitlin Vierna, and Vierna was able to actually keep you off for a little bit. It just kind of seemed like if you work on your judo defense, or you have a good answer for once you guys get to the ground, and she can't just pin and full mount, I think it's definitely anybody's game. I think that analyzing both those fights, if Julianna Pena and Harrison were to meet 3 months later, we'd see where it was going, and I would actually honestly have to say I couldn't predict that fight. So honestly, yeah, Julianna should have called out Harrison and just gotten into the business and gotten prepared for like 3 or 6 months from now so we could actually watch that fight. But it is what it is. You know, it is the fight to make. I don't see Amanda Nunes versus Pena 3 happening at all. In fact, honestly, even though Juliana exceeded a lot of my expectations, or she proved a lot of my fears to just be kind of paranoia when she really put on the grappling against Raquel Pennington and was taking her back and everything, I realized that inactivity doesn't always affect everybody. So, I kind of saw more out of Juliana Pena than I thought I was going to. And I think that she should have more confidence, but, definitely, I do think that her versus Amanda Nunes would definitely go in Amanda's favor because I think that's just Amanda being head and shoulders above everybody else and just being the GOAT, the women's GOAT. But yeah, no, I think honestly she needs to address the Kayla Harrison thing and at least take that fight. And, she could definitely win it. I'm going to be saying the unpopular thing and saying she can. I don't think she will. I still have her as an underdog. Kayla Harrison's definitely my favorite in that one. But, what else is there to say? That's the fight to make, and we shouldn't publicize anything else. If you beat Kayla Harrison and you prove a lot of the doubters wrong, definitely call out Amanda Nunes. But I think that this is one of those things where it's like you got to get past the person who's trying to be active first. Okay. Now, the Amanda Nunes fight was impressive. The first win, I never saw that coming. But, don't cling to the past. Start looking towards the future. And your future does lie with the Kayla Harris fight. So I said what I said my piece. Peace out. See you on the next one.